G'day. New Zealand central bankers say the quiet part out loud. The ETFs have accumulated a staggering amount after their first month of being live. Bitcoin holders are incredibly reluctant to sell their Bitcoin. We're going to dive into that. And Copper vs. Wright, I have a funny piece to share from yesterday's 7th day. And Grayscale, they put on this incredible drone show. But let's just jump into what the central bankers are saying over in New Zealand firstly.
The fiscal challenges, etc., that are there. So very focused on being cost effective. We actually fund ourselves and then work out what dividend is needed to pay. So we kind of work, it's a great business to be in central banking. You print money and people believe it. And touch wood. So it's a slightly different beast.
This is absolutely amazing. Obviously, back in the Bitcoin lab today. Welcome to G'day Bitcoin. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, that button below, hit the notifications. I got back from New Zealand last night, 11:30. Our plane got delayed twice. It was pretty interesting. And then this comes out while I'm traveling. Absolutely insane. So hopefully people believe it. Central banking's a great business model to be in. They're not even hiding it any longer. It's absolutely insane, the things these central bankers have to say, the audacity of them. Obviously, this is why we stack and chill. So we've seen for the first month of the spot Bitcoin ETFs a huge amount of accumulation. This is Matt Hogan. This is the CIO of Bitwise. Obviously, we have had him on the show. Shout out to everyone watching live there a little bit later today. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Hopefully you've bought your partner some flowers, some chocolate, or you've done a good deed this morning, if you knows what I'm talking about. Now, the new spot Bitcoin ETFs hold more Bitcoin purchased, 228,400 Bitcoin worth 11.3 billion. This is just in 22 days. Absolutely insane. So hopefully you have been stacking, you've been chilling. Things are about to get pretty crazy. We have dropped below $50,000. We're going to dive into why that pullback happened with the CPI data that came out. Rate cuts aren't looking likely in March or May at this stage, but we will talk about it shortly. Bitcoin Maxi, we'll have the Bitcoin Maxi here on the show, but this is pretty interesting. What price does Wall Street get your Bitcoin? Lots of talk about what price a Bitcoiner would sell. I know where my vote is going. Comments if you have a strategy for the coming bull market. I'll share mine. 100K, 500K, million plus. GFY, I don't want. Fiat, obviously this is what I voted for. 63.2% of you agree with me there. So if you're not going to sell and you need help to get your Bitcoin off the exchange, just a quick shout out to today's sponsor, The Bitcoin Way. If it's still on an exchange, talk to them. They can help you get it off. Safety, the author of the Bitcoin Standard, also endorses a professional Bitcoin IT cybersecurity team. They've helped me with my security. We sort of talked about that in yesterday's video, how I got one here. These metal plates all around the world in 3 different locations, Australia, the US, and New Zealand. Had to go there to bring them together. Much better way to do it. If you need to sell in a hurry, that setup I had was absolute garbage, so definitely don't do that. They never touch your keys. They never touch your coins. Instead, they show you how to buy and keep them safe. If you need to make it your setup a little bit safer, reach out to the Bitcoin Way today. I have put a link at the top of the description there. I know a lot of people have had a lot of success talking to the Bitcoin Way as of late, so absolutely well done. Now, this is a video that I'm going to bring up. This is of Pomp. And regardless of what you think of Anthony Pompliano, maybe we need to give him a little bit of credit this time here. If you haven't been around for a while, he did go off into the degens space for a little while, but he has articulated Bitcoin very well on CNBC. So I'll play just about 1:30 of this video and shout out to everyone watching live. If you can smash the like button for us, let's go.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. The price of Bitcoin crossing back over the $48,000 level over the weekend, 1 month this after the launch of the spot Bitcoin ETF. This morning, trading slightly lower. Joining us right now is Anthony Pompliano, founder of Pomp Investments. Good morning to you.
Morning.
This has been a bit of a wild ride because we talked about sort of selling the news or selling the rumor, buying the rumor, selling the news. But now we've come back to buying.
Yeah. I mean, look, the verdict's in, right? Wall Street doesn't just like Bitcoin, they love Bitcoin. If you think of these assets, there's been over 5,500 ETF launches in history. Never have we had a fund get to $3 billion in AUM in the first 30 days. BlackRock and Fidelity both just did it. So 2 for the first time in history. And then if you look at Bitwise and 21 Shares, ARK, they're both going to hit $1 billion this year or this week. And so now you have 4 funds that are going to hit $1 billion of inflows. But the most interesting part of this is the inflows. I mean, these funds are doing $500 million a day of net inflows, but there's only 900 Bitcoin that is actually coming into the daily incoming supply. And so when you look at that, that's like $40 to $45 million. There's 12.5x more demand for Bitcoin than what's being produced on a daily basis.
So how much of this do you think is being generated by the ETFs themselves?
A lot of it. Obviously, we've been talking about the ETF. We had Matt Hogan on, like I was saying before. These ETFs, while us real Bitcoiners should definitely be holding our own Bitcoin, these ETFs make number go up technology. It's absolutely insane where we are headed. We'll jump into the price. Let's bring it up here in the background if I can. So the Bitcoin price, 49,613. Let's bring up the block clock here, 830,371. It is 2:13 in the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Valentine's Day. It's been a big day, big travel. Sats, oh my gosh, this is what I was thinking was going to happen around the time of the ETF launch, but we got there, 2017 Satoshi. So for every $10, you can get 20,000 Satoshi. It's still good. This is still bullish. But that number there, 2017, if I come across right there, is going to go down dramatically. So we truly need to make the most of it. We need to be stacking those sats, absolutely chilling, because things are about to get crazy. Everyone that's watching live or the replay, let us know when you would think about selling your Bitcoin for dirty old fiat. And maybe this may help increase that price here. So the Bitcoin ETF, the first month is in the books, how it went and what comes next. There's only 2 short parts I want to pull out of this article here. So the new ETFs on average, a net $125 million worth of Bitcoin each day over the past 4 weeks. Absolutely huge. In just a month, the Bitcoin funds, excluding GPDC, have accumulated over $11 billion worth of Bitcoin with 3 of the ETFs. BlackRock's IBIT, Fidelity's FBTC, and ARK's 21 shares. ARK would be topping the $1 billion mark in assets under management. In fact, at the end of Monday, IBIT was nearing $5 billion assets under management. FBTC was just shy of $4 billion. Was it BlackRock that said when they had 5 billion or 6 billion assets under management, they'd keep their fees at 0? Well, they've pretty much hit that. If there's 6 billion, they're closing in on that pretty quickly. This is absolutely amazing, pretty insane. I just want to jump into the comment section really quickly. It is good to have everyone here. JD Club, shout out to you. Bob Welch, keep up the great work. Exciting times. Andy Surfer, so sad. This is in regards to the video that I showed you right at the start with New Zealand central bankers. This is absolutely insane. This system, this is what we're fighting for, is our freedom, our self-sovereignty. Baseline Benny, shout out. NZ governments are puppets, and the cost of living, especially the cost of food over there. Wow. And petrol, I did not have much luck at the petrol stations. Oh my gosh, what a journey. Maybe we can dive into that. And I stormed out of there. It's hilarious. Baseline Benny, afternoon session, an enjoyable Wednesday, Valentine's Day. Matt Warren, it is good to see you. Just a quick shout out to Matt Warren. Brother, it's greatly appreciated. Appreciate everyone here. Matt's been absolutely amazing on X. He sent me 69,369 Satoshis there for good cheer. And thanks for all the well wishes with my granddad there. I am... In regards to Anthony Pompilano, recently interviewed Peter Schiff. It was pretty funny. I'll have to check that one out. Daniel G, 2021 bear market landed 3K. Abode the 27 top. Bitcoin for life. I love it. Daniel G, I'm only here because I work a night shift. Sorry to hear about your troubles, Andy. Is all good. It's a whole lot of fun. It's the joys of travel there. Good to have you home. Driving so can't watch but listen into the forest. It's always a pleasure. Neil Patton, g'day Sean. NZ Banksters, let them eat cake. Should BlackRock create a new token to keep up with demand? I'm sure they're thinking about it. What do you reckon, ladies and gentlemen? Is BlackRock going to go off with a hard fork there? If you haven't already read it, The Hidden Cost of Money there by Seb Bunny, we are going to get him back on the show as well. This is the Light Show by Grayscale. Absolutely awesome. I'll bring it up in 2 secs. It's pretty spectacular. What I would like to do quickly as well, I've put a link at the top of the description there, Bitcoin Evangelism. Please read the Bitcoin books or eat. Klaus Schwab's bugs, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know. You can eat the bugs. You can read the books for a little bit of fun. Super awesome book, and definitely good for people, especially if they understand blockchain a little bit or they don't understand it all. Give them the book and enjoy. But this is pretty cool, hey? This is pretty spectacular. Okay, I need to kill. I'll just turn down the sound a little bit, listening to a dirty old diesel truck. That's so cool. That is so cool. Sorry, that noise is a little bit intense in my ears. How absolutely epic is that? Well done, Grayscale, for putting that up on Miami. Let us know if you saw that live. Super cool. Obviously a little bit of a festival going on there. The advertising, hey, it's getting super creative. We are going to dive into a little bit more shortly. But Craig Wright, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any BSVers in the chat watching the replay, please let us know how you are coping with Copa going after Craig Wright absolutely relentlessly. And the dude's tripping up all the time. And nothing against tripping up with your speech. I do it often enough. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been here for a while, you know that I'll get tongue twisted occasionally. It's not that. What's happening here is Craig is having a hard time coping. So this is what I'm talking about. So shout out to Norbert here. Incredible reporting. What a day. Probably the most entertaining one so far. As Wright continued to get pressed and had nothing, he got increasingly agitated. Hoff needed to raise his own voice several times to manage this. Mellor is clearly tired of Wright appealing to him if he's some kind of teacher in the schoolyard. How on earth, Mellor asked Wright at one point after he had made a particularly difficult to believe claim, go figure, about how his apparent plagiarism had happened. His distinguished associates had never heard of him, but Wright had a perfectly unbelievable explanation for that as well. No surprises. He went off on his wild tangents. Today we heard old scandalous allegations about Martini Melmi that I'm not going to repeat. He also appeared to give Adam back credit. Well done for Bitcoin's number go up. So that's nice, I guess. He was careful to nonchalantly let us know that the Greg Maxwell is the painted frog blogger who exposed Wright's plagiarism years ago, and that Malami is a cobra. It's amazing. He repeatedly got pawned by freshly published emails between Satoshi and Adam Back, forcing him to adapt his story. Wright is not just winning anyone over. To his credit, he started using the classic, "I do not remember, Your Honor," defense instead of making stuff up on the fly. To aid him here, he pleaded face blindness, and he's just not very good at remembering people, except when it's to his benefit, of course. Arthur's years of meticulous sleuthing paid off today as we got to see Wright try to explain away the Patch Tuesday debacle together with the 69. What a great number of the universe there. Racks or computers. He said he needed to operate Bitcoin alone. How interesting. These excuses just fail to bits when they come under pressure from Ho. I sat with a quality bunch of people in a new courtroom that works quite well today. I have lots of interest from people wanting to attend tomorrow. That's entertaining to say the least. Let's save this Saylor video for a little bit later because he's just so good. He articulates Bitcoin so well. Now, where we are in the cycle, Stack Hodler, I think this is a pretty good way to be able to wrap around that mentality, because we are seeing the Satoshis drop rapidly. 2018, there's 2,300 before I left, 2,400 Satoshis per dirty fiat dollar. So how can we approach this now? For a lot of people, if you haven't gone to Bitcoin, one Bitcoin, think in Satoshis. Every one Bitcoin's 100 million Satoshis. And that way, for every $10, you're stacking about 20,000 at the moment. But Stack Hodler, what Stack has to say? Stacking a sub 100K today, it feels a lot like stacking sub 100K Bitcoin did 2018, 2020. Back then, we basically had Bitcoin Twitter, which was absolutely epic. I can concur. Bitcoin Standard, stock to flow hopium, and occasional pump appearance in CNBC to keep us excited. Now, though, Fidelity and BlackRock pushing billions of clients' funds into the orange coin. MicroStrategy buying as much as they can, outperforming peers. Tether dumping massive profits into Bitcoin, funded by Uncle Sam. SBF behind bars and able to fraudulently funnel Bitcoin buyers into S-coins, altcoins, pump and dumps. Room for interest rates to fall massively versus near zero in 2020. FASB official acceptance of Bitcoin as a legitimate treasury reserve asset with favorable accounting. We touched on that in yesterday's video, or was it the day before, where we haven't really seen any corporations uptake aside from Bitcoin corporations. I wonder who's going to be the first. Is it going to be Tesla? They're going to add it back onto their balance sheet as well. I believe SpaceX still holds Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Maybe it's X. Maybe it's the Everything app. Is it Apple, or are we going to see some strange like BHP or something like that, maybe an oil company? Let us know what your speculation in regards to that is. Larry Fink pushing Bitcoin as a flight to quality on TV, and we haven't even seen the really exciting headlines of the cycle, but they're coming. You wish you'd bought more under 10K, you wish you had bought more under 100K, and eventually people wish they'd bought more under $1 million. These types of statements always sound far-fetched until they happen, until they don't. But there is a tidal wave of passive flows starting to hit, and Bitcoin will be harder than gold in 70 days. TikTok, next block, ladies and gentlemen, if we bring it up here on the blockchain, blocks to halving, wow, look at that, only 9,629. We are 95% of the way there. April 21, maybe we get 420 this year. It is definitely closing in on that. A lot of people will rue the day they dismiss the world's first finite money. It's unfortunate we all get it at the price we deserve, even myself, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Jim Cramer, this is a little bit of a throwback, but it's absolutely hilarious. He nailed pretty much the bottom. Bitcoin is up 11,521 days since he said it's unlikely to find its footing and that it's a tough own. 22nd of the first there. Bitcoin equals a tough own. Unlikely that Bitcoin finds its footing. Look when he called that right before that final bounce back up. Absolutely amazing. He's done it so well. 39,565, and we are pretty much at 50,000 at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Bitcoin's already at all-time highs in many places around the world. This is more sad than bullish, to be honest. Reading through, I needed to take a moment. It's pretty full on. If you're on a Bitcoin standard, you're good. Everyone's good all around the world. If you're not, though, it's absolutely insane. 2016 to 2024, up 61,000%. That's Bitcoin versus Egypt. There, people, Lebanon is wild. Tony from the Bitcoin Way was in Lebanon. If you haven't seen that interview I did with him, well worth watching there. Lebanon, what? 155,000%. Turkey, which is a G20 country, 165,000%. It is up. That might be the winner there. A few more there, 18,500%. Who have we got? Japanese yen, the third largest economy in the world. Is this a sign of things to come? Now, Coinbase. Oh my gosh. Are you frustrated or what? Have you seen that Coinbase commercial? It is so good, aside from the fact they don't mention Bitcoin at all. I'll play it and let you know. And you let me know what you think.
Being on the penny used to mean something. It was worthy compensation for thoughts. But now it's useless fodder for petty wishes tossed out like common garbage 120 million times a year. Even though it's still technically money. It's tortured, humiliated, forgotten. The currency of choice for paying people back with spite. This is $50, by the way. Why are you doing this? Get me off this piece of scrap metal. Make me digital. Let me soar. Imagine me actually paying for stuff amongst the people again, instantly traveling the globe without fees or friction. Old Abe just wants to be good at being money again. Is that too much to ask for an old top-hatted dreamer?
They're like 90% of the way there, and of course they had to throw the altcoins into the mix. Go Coinbase, there's no surprises there. So what are my thoughts? Absolutely disappointed in them. Aside from that, if people see that and they come and they buy Bitcoin, well done Coinbase for that. 2 secs. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just had some sparkling water and creates a couple of burps. Anyway, let's carry on. Michael Saylor, the GOAT. Let's get at it.
Well, I think a lot of this is just indicative of the popularity of Bitcoin as an asset class. It's now the world's most popular investment asset. It's novel, it's digital, it's global, it's unique, and it's uncorrelated to traditional risk assets because it doesn't come with exposure to any given country, currency, company, quarterly result, product cycle, competitor, not to weather, not to war, not to an employee base or supply chain. And so that makes it a natural addition to the portfolio of a responsible investor. There's 10 years of pent-up demand. People have been waiting for these ETFs, and finally, mainstream investors are able to access Bitcoin. And I think that's what's driving the surge of capital in the asset class. And initially, there was a rebalancing as people were moving capital between the futures market and the miners and MicroStrategy and the ETFs. But following that rebalancing, I think the assets found its footing. And now people are beginning to realize that there's 10 times as much demand for Bitcoin coming in through these ETFs as there is supply coming from the natural sellers who are the miners.
Yeah.
Let's go. We've got the halving coming up, 900 to 450, and it's just going to happen like that. And we don't go straight up from that point. So we're probably going to bounce around somewhere from here, maybe say 45,000 to 52,000. Potentially some people are calling for an all-time high before the halving. Obviously, none of it is financial advice. I'd just be stacking and chilling and getting ready for it. Now, Alessandro, we've got a couple more things and then we'll dive into the comments there. If we consider the 3 trading days, just talking about the multiplier effect, Thursday the 8th, Friday the 9th, and Monday the 12th, we noticed a price increase of circa 5K, representing an increase in the market cap, about 100 bill for Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the net inflow culminated of these 3 days being 1.44 billion. Divide the market cap increase for the net inflow, we have a multiplier of 70. Surely there are other factors that have an impact on the market cap, but in terms of order of magnitude, indicatively, we can use 70. It's pretty exciting. Hey, let's go. We saw the drone show here. What I want to show you is, let me zoom in a little bit. It's not really making it any better. Anyway, what I'm trying to bring up, not so successfully, is the market cap is 973,708,161,242. Bitcoin price 49,609. It's not actually that. I left it there just because there's numbers of the universe, 49,441. In the last 24 hours, we did have a high of 50,241, a low. My apologies. That's the 7 days. That's even more impressive, eh? And that's pretty much the numbers I called, 42,798 to 50,241. The last 24 hours, the low was $48,385. Just diving into the CPI really quickly, it came in hotter than expected. January CPI reading reduced expectations for interest rate cuts in the next month, weighing on risk assets such as crypto. Bitcoin dropped to 48,800 as the January Consumer Price Index report showed 3.1% annual inflation, higher than analysts forecast. So the expectations for the rate cut in May fell to 34% from 52%, the CME FedWatch tool shows. So pretty interesting. We'll keep an eye on that as things progress there. Give me 2 secs, and I just want to bring up the Bitcoin lab because we are back in the lab again. So let's dive into some of these comments, queries, questions. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. If we vibe, we do the news with the fast facts daily, 5:35 Monday to Friday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Good to have you home driving. Thanks very much. Into the forest. Let's find out where I was up to. Daniel G, I have a boyfriend. Oh, man, I dare say, well, I dare hope that you bought your partner flowers, Daniel G, or at least some chocolates there for this beautiful Valentine's Day today. John Kidwell, love catching you live. Always good vibes. John, how is your dog going? Fully healed now? John is definitely the definition of, or a leading example of how stacking Bitcoin increases your purchasing power over time. So well done, John. Bitcoin was there when John needed Bitcoin the most. Unlike fiat can be occasionally, we are seeing people on Twitter trying to buy houses and stuff, and the banks are just shutting down those payments. It's absolutely insane. It's going to keep happening. Love, always good vibes. T Meg, 2,000 sats per USD. Going to take 2 months to get to 1,000 sats per USD. I hope I can make some money this time. Stacking sats is the only form of money that there is in the world, Daniel, but I dare say so. My third bull run, I'd just like to say then on it, not financial advice, is hopefully it's Bitcoin only, or a focus at least on Bitcoin, the majority. Maybe if you want to be a little bit of a degen, a 90-10% split. It's how most people get wrecked, is they go off and buy high, sell low, and it's in the altcoin degenerate casino there. I have some Bitcoin. I feel I am not cashing out. I'll cash out the alts, but I feel Bitcoin is a good hold long term. Absolutely, it is. Daniel, I definitely encourage you to read Bitcoin Evangelism. If you haven't already read it, read all the Bitcoin books, because you definitely don't want to be cashing out, in my opinion, of Bitcoin in the long term. We've got this opportunity. Matt Warren, Craig Wright is going to be Craig wrong pretty soon if he's not already. Ethan, g'day from Perth. Mr. Android, Daniel G, make sure you're not staking your altcoins just before the bull run, not financial advice. Get rid of all the ship coins, not financial advice. Maybe a pretty good idea, Mr. Android. I don't do stake, and I can just flip coins on the daily and make more than that, but I don't. I'm now just sitting on about 5 coins, most of them high cap. I'm low risk these days. Couple of lessons learned, maybe one more cycle and be 100% Bitcoin only. Daniel G, I am trolling a little bit, but that's my thoughts. And if you want to know why, I did put out a video where I talked about my altcoin to Bitcoin journey. That video dropped yesterday, maybe worth the watch there, and you can see where that conviction comes from. Bitcoin is the world's most popular investment asset. Happy Christmas, New Year, much wealth to you. Year of the dragon, year of the green dragon, I reckon. Well, soon enough. Tony, g'day from the Bitcoin Way. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that link's at the top of the description. Absolute legend. Tony, if we can catch up later on this week's running out, but I'd love to go through a few more things as well. And always continuous improvement or iterating to be able to stack and lock down that sack of sats and a more secure. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, thanks very much for the sideline. Reach out to the Bitcoin Way if you need any help there, or you just want to check. We are ready for the bull run. No, just cook some rum steak for him. He is always hungry. Good man. I had salad for lunch. I definitely need a good steak, that's for sure. No flowers or chocolate, but got her some sats. Mr. Android, let's go. Junior is fully healed. This is John Kidwell's dog. So good to hear. Raven, Pump's newest video is interviewing Peter Schiff. It's so infuriating taking shots at Bitcoin with blatant lies. I'll check it out. Hey, Perth JC, good to see you in the house. Neil Patton, cash out to Bitcoin. Neil, you got the right idea. Greetings, Jim T. Cyber Dude, I'm old enough to remember when a penny used to buy things. Even when I was a kid, like you could go down to the dairy or the corner store, depending on if I was in Australia or New Zealand. And for like 50 cents, you could get a bag of lollies. And then that's sort of when I was in primary school. By high school, it was about $1. And then it went to like $1.10. And now we'll go buy a bag of lollies from the shop down the road. Well, I don't really buy lollies, but if we have occasionally, say we probably bought a bag in the last year or 2 bags in the last year, they're like $5 to $7 for a very similar size bag. It's absolutely insane. McLovin is in the house. Hi, Sean Sup of Plebers. Sean, do you cover New Zealand Reserve Banks to stay in the quiet part out loud? I sure did, Mr. Android, right at the start. It was the first video we played straight after the intro. I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for the well wishes with Grandad. It was an amazing time with friends, with family. Being able to deliver a speech, it is good to be back in the Bitcoin lab again. If you've got any comments, questions, drop them below, hit the subscribe button, check out today's sponsors, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:35 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We've got some incredible guests coming up next week. Wow. You're in for something. We're going to dive deep into the World Economic Forum, the Bilderberg Group, BlackRock, the people that control the world, and why Bitcoin is so important. So tune in for that. There's some exciting things coming up. Anyway, we'll talk to you very soon. Have a beautiful day. Do something nice. Be blessed. Peace.